It's no secret that I don't like these four guys in 2025. I don't mean I don't like them as people. I just mean I hate their ADP values, and I'm avoiding all four of them in 2025 fantasy football. We're going to break down why, starting with McCaffrey. Then we're going to head into, we'll go to Tyreek Hill, then Cook, then Mixon, the fantasy football show. The Planet Uranus board, if you will.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
That show begins right now. File on in.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
This is never an easy show because there's always somebody that loves one of these guys, two of these guys, all four of them. And I get it. If you own them or if you're planning on owning them and you're just a very calculated person, you're like, I'm already taking Tyreek Hill in round 2. I wrote it down in my diary earlier this week. I'm not changing it, Smitty. And so you're mad at me, whatever the case may be. That's fine. You do what you want to do. All I'm going to tell you is that even though he can win a league and when he's healthy, he's the best running back in fantasy. When he's on the field, he has the best shot of being number one. Or my favorite is when you're playing for big money in $1 million contest, you want to draft for upside. Yeah, you always want to do those things. Nothing changes because of this or that. You're always drafting upside. You draft Achane in round 1 over Christian McCaffrey. You're drafting for upside and you're drafting a safer player. You draft Bucky Irving over Christian McCaffrey, even if he fell to the 2.2 and you're looking at Bucky Irving in the face, you take Bucky Irving. It's not even a question. The real concern I have here for people that buy into Cook, buy into Hill, buy into McCaffrey, buy into Mixon, is that you're thinking this is more complicated than it is. It isn't. It's as simple as I like a handful of players better than all four of these guys when I'm on the board or on the clock and these guys are on the board and they're the most likely player that most people would take. When you're faced with a decision to actually go, do I take them or not? There are handfuls of players I like more than all of these guys at their prospective ADP. He's going at 1.5 to 1.7, Christian McCaffrey. Hill's going at the 2-3 turns, so 24-25. Cook is going in the 3rd round a lot of the time. 4th round, I still don't like him. Why? Because I like other players better. Joe Mixon. Look, if you could get him for pennies on the dollar, maybe you grab him and you cuff him to Woody Marks, not Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's not doing anything on the long term. Come on. But McCaffrey, the going, defense mechanism, if you will, for the entire offseason has been, hey, I can cuff him to Garendo. I can cuff him to, oh, wait, it's not Garendo. He's hurt. Jordan James is hurt. Good God, who's the backup? It's Patrick Taylor. A lot of people want to throw the other rookie in here. You don't know who the backup is because they all get hurt. Shanahan hurts all of his running backs. The healthiest running back right now has bilateral chronic Achilles tendonitis in both of his Achilles tendons. And everybody thinks it's all healed. He's going to break, just like every Niner running back breaks. And I even went live with my boy Raj, RSF 49ers, who's a very optimistic Oscar for the Niners whenever he can be. But even he told me, I don't know what it is and why this team continues to get hurt, other than it has to do with stretching. It has to do with training. The Denver Broncos came out and stretched like bandits. They were stretching like crazy. And the Niners do very little stretching. And no one says anything. No one does anything about it. Part of it is scheme. Part of it is play calling. What do I mean scheme? When you're pulling and you got so much motion, you got a lineman pulling to the right and left and leaving a running back blocking a linebacker. And there's all kinds of reasons why players are getting beat up. Tight end is getting beat up. Everybody's getting beat up because the system is dynamic and is constantly moving and shifting and keeping defenses on their toes. But it makes for mismatches that end up wearing and tearing on the players. There's lots of reasons, but stretching, preparedness, are the trainers any good? Why isn't this being looked into? I don't know. And don't say it's bad luck. They're constantly having injured running backs every single year. They have all of the running backs injured right now. They might bring in somebody. All of them are injured except for Christian McCaffrey, who's going to always be at risk of being injured because he's kind of always going to be injured. Even right now, he is hampered. He just doesn't know it because he's not out there running full speed. But just wait. He's going to have calf injuries. He's going to have knee injuries. He's going to potentially miss a lot of time if he even makes it through the year and doesn't get shut down at some point because of the bilateral Achilles chronic tendonitis. You can't even cuff him is my point. You can't even cuff him safely. You don't know who to cuff. Guerrero, we love. Guerrero and Jordan James, we have them on the cuff board. We do love them. And at some point, Guerrero might start 4 or 5 games and maybe win league standalone. But you don't know how to cuff or when to cuff Christian McCaffrey and who to cuff him to right now. So you can't prepare. So there's no more excuse of you just cuff him and you're fine. This is a guy that has had more mileage and workload than any running back in the National Football League in terms of his offense's, percentage of running back share or any sort of percentage of workload. He is the biggest and highest percentage of his team's offense and always has been. And there's no running back that really comes close because of his utilization. But it wore him down. It broke him down. He's not the same guy. Stop saying, but when he's healthy and on the field, he's the best running back in the league. That doesn't matter. You say this, but it doesn't mean anything. If I had a tail, then would I give better fantasy advice? We don't know because I don't have a tail. So how can we answer that? If LaDainian Tomlinson came back from retirement and could play like his old self, would he be the best running back in the league, Bob? I mean, what are we doing here with these hypotheticals? He's not the same player. And it'd be one thing if you're drafting him at 3.1 and we're making this, debate. And I say, you know what, in one league, sure. We're talking about he has climbed to the 1.5, the 5th overall pick, or 1.7 in that territory and range. That is ridiculous. Why would you draft him over BTJ? Why would you draft him over Ashton Genty? Oh, they're minus 1 yard on 3 carries. Don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started. Genty's a top 5 running back as a rookie. Genty's the best running back prospect to come out of college since Barry Sanders. Don't even get me started. You like this guy over even second round amazing running backs. Chase Brown, Bucky. Achane goes in 1 or 2. Why would anyone take Christian McCaffrey with his injury history and Shanahan's likelihood to get him hurt, and with the offensive line collapsing, all the wide receivers are injured. Everybody's injured on San Francisco. No one's listening to me. This is not a problem that's due to bad luck. This is a problem, and no one's fixing it. And so I'm staying away from everyone. 49er, even Ricky Pearsall, even George Kittle, everyone is at risk of getting hurt in this system with this coach. You can say whatever you want. Oh, it's not the system. It's not the coach. I don't even need to debate it with you because that's how I feel. It's my show. I could feel however I want. You can disagree with me all you want. That's fine too. But this is my show and that's how I feel. So complete avoid, especially at cost of entry. And even if he fell, let's say he fell, you press a button right now. Boom. He falls to 2.12 ADP. I'm not taking him. Why would I? At 0 shares. I would take him 0 times. Why? Chase Brown. Why? Bucky Irving. Why? Drake London. Why? Even Amarian Hampton. I'd rather have over Christian McCaffrey. Kyron Williams over Christian McCaffrey. Kyron Williams rushed 14 touchdowns last year, 12 the year prior, but 15 total touchdowns the year prior. He's a touchdown machine. Like, what are we doing here? I don't even understand. It doesn't compute for me. And then you go James Cook. James Cook is an injury waiting to happen. He's been holding out via holding in. And every day that he's held out, the injury risk has gone up. Ray Davis looked absolutely phenomenal. Where's my Ray Davis image? Look at this. Look at this bad boy. He's a midseason monster for a reason. Right here. As are all these guys. And see, look, I love Guerrero. At some point, Guerrero and James will pop, but those are standalone picks. You're not needing to wait on it or needing to have Guerrero in there exactly when Christian McCaffrey goes down. Ray Davis is a midseason monster. Krosky Merritt. Look at this group. This group is phenomenal. Love what we're looking at here in terms of breakout winners. And Moon Men, our midseason monsters are really Moon Men in delay. is the way you could look at that. But Ray Davis scored 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns, 6 total in 2024 as a backup. This guy's not going to have 17 touchdowns again. He barely had 1,000 yards. He rushed for 9 yards over 1,000 yards. 1,009 yards. Everything was down last year except for the touchdowns. And they love this kid. And you can say I'm wrong all you want. Again, doesn't really matter. I'm just here to tell you my truth and what I feel, and you take it however you want. This is a better running back. Between the tackles, he's a better running back than James Cook. He just is. Using my eye test, not your eye test, not Steve's eye test, not Gabe 453241 on IG. No, my eye test, not Gabe's. Gabe can think whatever he wants. Stevie boy over there can think whatever he wants. This is what I think. I use my eyeballs, and this guy is a better running back than this guy. He's elusive. He makes people miss, and I don't care about even looking at yards per carry last year. You know, in bad spots where he's given these weird carries, I watch him break tackles. I know what I see. I don't need Excel sheets and data sometimes. Sometimes I just need a screen. And when I see him run, I see a monster. In this offense, this is replaceable. You may not think it is because it produced, but he would have produced, and he did when he was called upon. 6 TDs without even starting games. Like, what are we talking about here? 6 TDs is a lot. Stand alone, grab Ray Davis. Stand alone, grab Garendo maybe, but even that, like, there are players around Garendo's ADP that I do like better on the midseason monster list right now. So it's not like Garendo's a lock whenever you see him. Because he's banged up right now, he kind of falls below a lot of these guys. I'm definitely taking Blue and Bigsby and Ray Davis and Krosky Merritt over Grendo right now. That's just the unfortunate, part of being hurt. But once he's healthy, and if he is healthy, then, he obviously moves back up. Ray Davis to the moon. Ray Davis to the mother freaking...
To the moon.
All right, next player to discuss here is a man known as Joe Mixon, who is in a walking boot and has multiple lower leg injuries. And he broke down and fell off the face of the earth last year. And I admit, that I should have told people instead of avoid Mixon, which I said, and he screwed people. And you lost the league potentially. You got to a potential playoff berth or right near the playoffs, or he got you in the playoffs, but then he wasn't there for you. And you kept starting him because he didn't get hurt. He played, but just played badly. And you had so much faith in him that you put him out there. You ran him out there because you're like, he's one of the best running backs in the league for 10 straight weeks. And that's where I got it wrong. I'll admit it. My advice should have been draft him because his ADP was good. It was low, it was cheap. And then trade him by double-digit weeks. If I would have said that would have been the best advice I could have possibly given somebody on Mixon. But instead I said just avoid him. People did benefit. Like, that would be, you could consider that a miss. But at the end of the day, like, would you have gotten rid of him? Would you have known to? Would you have changed your mind? He dropped off the face of the earth. And at his ripe age, there's no hope that he's going to be able to repeat what he did last year for that, even that same amount of time. It's going to get shorter and gradually. And I don't know if he even recharges batteries at all enough to even do what he did last year, even for a short shot of 4 or 5 months. Don't even go down that road. Nick Chubb's not going to stay healthy. The answer is Woody Marks. The answer is the rookie running back, Woody mother freaking Marks, who had an unbelievable wide receiver or pass catching season. He's running back. But this guy caught 80 plus passes 1 year in college. 80 balls in a college season. This guy's a marvel. Potentially. Go watch some footage on him, and you might come back and say, Smitty, you're on to something with Woody Marks. Woody Marks could win leagues. Let's just see if he's on the midseason monster list. If he isn't, we need to add him right now, because this guy, he might even get, run. He could earn the job right before week 1. We're still a little ways away as of this, recording. It's August 12th. But I got to put Woody Marks on here for sure. And this is getting crowded, but this is a good looking board. And, this board's a little different because you're not going to hit on all of it, but they're a good group of go get players later in the draft where you're like, Smitty, do I go here or here? At least you could say, okay, let me look at the midseason monster board where all things are equal. This helps me decide, what to do. And the Milroe Milton at the bottom are super flex calls. but I do believe that both will be starting at some point this year. Don't get me started on the Dak thing because I still love Dak. Dak per start will ball, but he does always get hurt. And if Milton goes in, he's not coming out. That's for another show. You can get all mad at that if you want. But go Woody Marks. Don't trust Mixon at all, and don't trust Chubb. And Woody Marks is practically free. Whoops, I'm sorry, Mixon. I'm already moving him. He's practically free, so don't think you're. What am I doing here? Why am I getting rid of? You guys can stay on the screen. I'm trying to get rid of Ray Davis because he's not actually somebody that we're avoiding, and I don't want any confusion to occur. Okay, thank you. Ray Davis is gone. Final player, and let me get rid of Woody Marks because we know we love Woody. Go get Woody Marks. Okay, I'm telling you. And at least a couple leagues are won. Tyreek Hill, head case. Maybe a early stages Antonio Brown situation happening here. And you could say, oh, he's not close to. I'm not saying he is now. I'm saying early stages. I'm saying when Brown was leaving Pittsburgh, he was starting to become a little bit of a problem. Then he went to remember where the Raiders burned his feet off? Remember, forcing himself out of the Raiders organization. Mama or grandma, I can fly. I'm a bird. I'm free. I mean, it got bad. It got real bad. And then he went to Tampa, and then it was like Tom Brady pressed the pause button for over a year. That was kind of impressive. I feel like that's how Pickens is right now. If anybody says Pickens will be a diva, you watch. Not for a year. Not for a year. The pause button got hit. Whenever you become happy for a minute, it takes about a year. It's like in a relationship. About a year, you're on cloud 9, and then at 9 months to a year, boom, it goes down. Down goes the bridge. Down goes cloud 9. In a relationship, your boy's got a psych degree. In a relationship, cloud 9, that feeling of butterflies and, your elbows touch. You're like, whoo! Like that lasts from 9 months to a year. And it's cloud 9. It means it's holding the relationship up. And when cloud 9 crashes, so this is a 10 out of 10 relationship, this is a 0. And this is 1 year. This is 6 months. It's right here, cloud 9. The cloud is like this. The cloud is holding up the relationship, and the cloud might extend to 1 year. And as soon as the cloud goes away, you find out where the relationship really is. It might be at a 3. It might be at a 5. You don't know because you're sitting on top of the cloud, both of you. You have no clue. It's supporting you. And then when the cloud crashes and the cloud always vanishes, both of you fall to where the relationship really deserves to be. That's why they say never to get married before knowing each other for a year, because you don't know where cloud 9 is propping you up. Maybe your relationship is still a 9 out of 10, and when cloud 9 vanishes, you guys just drop down to this 9, and you're like, whoa, we're still good. We're really good. We're solid, actually solid. This is kind of what happens, and why I bring this up. George Pickens and Antonio Brown, when he went to Tampa, they're on cloud 9, okay? So they're sitting there. The relationship's a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Pickens is at 1 year after he dominates this year, and he's going to have a great year. At 1 year, cloud 9 is going to go away, and Pickens' diva mentality of, give me that contract, baby, it's going to happen. Okay, so right now it's not. So why did I even go there? I don't know. I tangent myself like no other. I was trying to say that the diva mentality gets paused for Pickens, and he is kind of a diva. It gets paused for Antonio Brown for even a little while. Tyreek Hill, if he went somewhere else, maybe it gets paused again. Maybe. But the problem is changing teams in the middle of the year, and he's not going to get traded now unless he gets really bad in the locker room, which can happen. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? But right now, it feels like they're going to give this a go. Coach Mike McDaniel's job is on the line. He's going to try and keep it together. The minute this thing, if it does fall apart, we hope it does not for Achane's sake. But they probably still run the hell out of him no matter what happens. They throw to him no matter what happens. And I think it'll be okay, but there is that risk factor. If all things are being equal and you're saying, do I go Bucky or Achane, or do I go, London or Achane, or you're deciding, it's not a reason to run away from Achane, but it's a reason to say, hey, all things are equal. There is an inherent risk in Tua getting hurt, in the offense collapsing, in Miami Mike getting fired, and then there's a changing of what's going on. Usually they keep going with what they have, and they hire or they bring up within and just keep things kind of even keeled for a while until the offseason, then they hire. But so Achane will probably be fine no matter what. But Hill's not getting traded till midseason is my point. Or right before the deadline, or maybe week 4 or week 5. When things get bad and he's not helping matters, then it's what can we get for him? That's how this is probably going to go. And where does he go? What team tries to acquire him? Does he have trouble fitting in, or does his reset button get hit and he's happy and he's kind of diva free? But here's the thing. Ziggy, how old is Tyreek Hill? Ziggy, volume 10. Volume 10. Ziggy, how old is Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill is 31 years old and was born on March 1st, 1994.
Yeah, I just wanted his birthday. March. So he's not turning 32 during the year, but he just turned 31 in March. He's not going to... There's a chance no matter what would have or should have happened last year. He should have got the ball more. He didn't. That's not his fault, and he's still got something left. Maybe he does. We'll never really know how that story should have ended. But it's a irrelevant story compared to he's 31 now. Just like Amari Cooper got traded to Buffalo, we don't know if Amari Cooper really busted or if they didn't use him right, but what if he ages out anyway this year, and then we just are going to associate that last year he busted when he wouldn't have, but he would have busted this year because he just naturally was at that age. We'll never know. If he doesn't land this year, we won't know if last year was because of just the dynamic and the wrist and different things, his attitude, Tua didn't want to throw to him, whatever the case may be. And this happened with Diggs in Buffalo. They phased him out purposely, on purpose. They didn't throw to him on purpose. They admitted that was admitted later. We might never know. We might never be able to say this is connected. I just know that at 31 years of age, he has a lot more risk of busting because he's older and he's a quick twitch, speedy wide receiver where you've heard it before, their hamstrings are paper thin. This is a year that I could very much see him getting hurt. He's doing so many extracurricular activities, racing everybody that will challenge him, running the bases for a world record, scrimmaging this guy, trying to challenge people and running in 100-yard meter championship races and track and field races. Like, this guy's overdoing his hamstrings when we're worried enough that he can get through a football season healthy, and now he's exhausting every little bit of time he has left. Here's again the bigger point is this: could Tyreek Hill still have a baller year, one more year? Sure. Okay, I'm admitting that that's a possibility. But when we're talking about this 2-3 turn, okay, pick 24 overall, pick 25 overall, and that's where his ADP is. There are just safer players that almost guarantee you the same amount of value if they stay healthy, and they're a lot more likely to, and their situations are a lot less likely to fall apart via Tua, via Mike McDaniel, via him just falling apart himself. There's like 3 different avenues of Tyreek Hill to fall apart. There are so many safer players here. Chase Brown sometimes falls here. Amarian Hampton is safer than Tyreek Hill. He just is. Kyron Williams is safer than Tyreek Hill. I mean, I could give you name after name after name. I could give you 10. I could grab 10 names and carry them to you when you're on the clock at 24 and say, pick one here. It's safer. That's the debate. The debate's over. You might be right if you say, oh, you have Tyreek. Congratulations. You're arguing that Tyreek needs to be this guy in this situation, and I'm going to be wrong. Or even if I'm wrong, I'm not wrong. I'm not. You come in here and say, Smitty, Tyreek had a pretty good year. You were wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Ask Miss Smitty. I'm not wrong even when I'm wrong. You know why? Because I drafted Hampton. And Hampton scored just as many points, and I didn't have the risk that you had. That you got through. You made it through. Congratulations. You and I are still even. You've got to ball out. Tyreek Hill's got to ball out for you and I to break even. So I didn't lose. You got lucky and didn't lose either. But it's either you lose or we both win. That's the debate here. I mean, anything can happen to Hampton, but we're talking about very likely injury versus a freak injury that could still happen to him. He's got the freak injury risk, but also the age and team falling apart, Tua getting hurt risk. He's got tons of risk, like 4 different levels of risk. Hampton's got the same catastrophic, totally random injury risk that Hill has. Hill has tons more inherent risk that Hampton doesn't have, that Brown doesn't have. that even a wide receiver like Garrett Wilson doesn't have. There's no reason to draft Hill at the 2-3 turn. No matter what I end up being right or wrong on, there's no excuse for it. These are your Planet Uranus men list. Don't go near them.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
Ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is a 24/7 live chat group, 365 24/7. And click the link that's in the description of the video that says Patreon. Cancel anytime. We're all jam-packed into the Game Day Lounge on game days, Monday, Thursday, all Sunday morning, all Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, just chatting. Like, did you see that play? Oh, that got called back. Oh, wait, they gave it to him again. He scored. We're constantly in there. You want a friend group? I don't have a chat group. Everybody says in my chat group, you've got one now. I'm in there. We're all in there chatting. $10 a month. Cancel. Try it for 1 month. That's a cup of coffee. You don't like it? Cancel it. $10. And if you don't like it, you don't love it, you still got a whole month to chat live and get some last minute trade advice and then bail if you don't like it. But you will like it because it's amazing. And we're going to have some league opportunities to get in a league for people that are in the Patreon. So more news on that to come very soon. And then don't forget, the reason I got into the business 25 years ago, whatever it is now, was because I wanted to create content that was year round, not just for Dynasty. It's a very Dynasty driven, community and content, but I wanted to create a website. First of all, I couldn't find a trade calculator anywhere. So I said, I'll do it myself. And created this bad boy, been tweaking it ever since. It's a Dynasty and redraft in one trade calculator based on auction dollars, so you can't trick it. You can do a 5-for-1, a 3-for-1. Essentially, think of it this way: you walk into an auction draft, and how many dollars does it cost? And it doesn't mean you have to do auction to use the trade calculator. It's just an explanation of how the values come out. If you walk into an auction draft and you're buying, Bijan for $70, and you're asking me, do I want Harvey and Hunter, or do I want Bijan in a trade? And this, again, it's not about auction dollar trade. It's just about auction dollars to value it. The trade calculator later will say this is worth $70 and the combo of these guys are worth X amount of dollars in redraft. And then right below it on the same space, it says in Dynasty, here's how it's different. So it's a great trade calculator, year-round rankings, year-round content. And the reason I started this 25 years ago is my buddies and I would sit around, and I started doing the radio thing and doing bold predictions, so that I became known as the bold prediction guy. No one was doing bold predictions in 2002 and 2003. First of all, if you want to say, Smitty, you say you invented bold predictions in fantasy football. Well, Steve, nobody really even had a computer and was even searching for content. ESPN would load on a dial-up and take 20 seconds for the page to load one image. And that was like 1998, 1999, maybe even 2000. So yeah, if I started creating content in 2002, because some people will say, Smitty, you act like you did all these things. Then yeah, I've been in this, I'm a dinosaur. I've been in this business so long that yeah, no one was doing bold predictions. And I was always told, you can't say that. Why are you saying it from people in the industry? You say Adrian Peterson's gonna be the best running back that ever played in the NFL. Then you leave no room for anybody else to say something nice about him. So that's kind of where my bold prediction started. And ever since, I haven't stopped. I did radio for 19 years on CBS and NBC Sports Radio. And then in all that, I created this site because I'd sit around with my friends and I'd be like, hey, let's do rankings, or let's draft our redraft league in April. And they're like, you're an idiot. No one wants content this early. I'm like, I do. I'd sit there and rank on a tablet, or a piece of, or a notebook, and I'd write down my players that I loved and in what order. And the next day I'd write it down again, and I'd see that I'd rank them differently. And I'm like, this is awesome. I love that every day my rankings were a little bit different. And so in 2002, 2003, I said, screw it. I'm going to create a website, and I've been doing it ever since. I love it. It's the best job in the world. But point is, it all comes from this. This is the birth of my existence in the fantasy space. And I've been doing it ever since. TheFantasyFootballShow.com. Description has the link, the description of this video, or you just go to thefantasyfootballshow.com. Very simple, right? The Fantasy Football Show on YouTube, thefantasyfootballshow.com, the Fantasy Football Show on Spotify, the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. It's pretty easy. Get on over there. There's a lifetime membership, so you never pay again. And if anybody buys that lifetime membership, let's say in the next couple days, email me and ask me, hey, Smitty, what could you do about giving me a couple months in the Patreon, for my lifetime membership? Let's do that. All right. I'll see you all on the next live stream. I drop videos at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, hopefully almost every day, like this video here. Uploads, right? I upload a video at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That's about 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then I'm live whenever big news breaks. I'm live additionally every Monday through Friday, like the bottom of the screen says, at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I'm live additionally almost every single midnight Eastern to draft with you live on Underdog. Promo code Smitty. That link is also in the description. And it's a $10 minimum, and they'll give you a 50% matching your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. But the minimum is only $10. So you do $10, they'll give you $5, and you could do 3 $5 puppy drafts and draft 3 teams right now, or spread them out over the next 3 days, or do slow drafts. Put an 8-hour timer and you'll literally be on the clock. If you do 3 drafts with an 8-hour timer, it'll seem like you're always on the clock. Don't miss out on getting extra skin in the game with these drafts on Underdog. That link is in the description. Code Smitty gets it done. The link inserts Code Smitty for you, and you'll be ready to draft with us at midnight if you do that right now and sign up. See you all later. Appreciate you.